First, the hot topic of the hour, and it is in Washington. The Senate taking a major step toward reopening government overnight, voting 60-40 to break the filibuster and advance a spending measure. The final package vote set for the coming days, and if the bill clears the Senate, it will move to the House, where, if passed, it will need to be signed by the president before the government can officially reopen. We are expecting that signage on Wednesday. 7 Democrats and 1 independent voted with Republicans to clear that procedural vote. Here's some of their reasoning. Watch.
This is the beginning to show and fight for Americans across the country. Let me just say this. With the government open, we can focus on passing a full bipartisan budget for 2026.
I understand that not all of my Democratic colleagues are satisfied with this agreement, but waiting another week or another month wouldn't deliver a better outcome. So let me be clear. No one in the Senate chamber wants to extend the ACA tax credits more than I do.
I joined this group to make sure that we could get important protections for federal employees. And what we have in this bill is the restoration of all the furloughed employees and a guarantee of their back pay.
GOP leaders now promising a December vote on extending enhanced Obamacare subsidies. They've been the Democrats' main sticking point, of course, in this record-long standoff now, day 41. The latest short-term spending bill would keep government funded through January 30th. I spoke with South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham yesterday, and he laid it all out ahead of all of this. Watch.
President Trump said yesterday, I will not accept continuing to give hundreds of billions of dollars to money-sucking healthcare insurance companies under Obamacare. I'm going to give the money to the people so they can buy better and cheaper health care, and that broke the Democrats. I think the government's going to open today because cooler heads are prevailing on the Democratic side. Senator Shaheen, Senator Collins, Katie Britt, and many others. I think we'll have a breakthrough today. The government will reopen today. We're not going to talk about health care until it does. And when it does, Donald Trump's going to lead this nation to change Obamacare, where all the money goes to the 7 top insurance companies in the world.
So, Liz, Lindsey Graham felt that with the president's pressure on the insurance companies and this idea that, look, we're going to just give the money to people, they can decide what they're going to do with their health care. That was one of the sticking points and the breaking points for Democrats. Of course, not to mention all the flight delays, all of these federal workers working for 6 weeks without pay, and, of course, the SNAP payments going away. Finally got a break yesterday in the Senate.
And high time, Maria. I think the entire country was fed up with the gamesmanship of the Democrats, even though it looks from the polling like people were blaming Republicans, not Democrats, which was really an appalling thing. Look, markets around the world are rallying because this is not just good news for the United States. It's good news for the entire world. The United States is the pivotal economy. We have seen consumer sentiment depressed, I believe, partly because of the government shutdown. It's been costing our economy $15 billion a week, apparently. It's slowing growth. And the transportation problems are definitely interfering with commerce. It was time to get this thing off of square one and get it settled. And frankly, Democrats have nothing to show for this absurd, long, troublesome and painful shutdown. They did not win on the Obamacare subsidies. There will be discussion about it. By the way, what President Trump lofted in the way of that of money directly to the people, that's what happens in the private world. Let's make some changes because at the end of the day, Obamacare doesn't work. It is too expensive, and that is what this wrangle is supposedly all about. Although what we really know it's about is basically Chuck Schumer being terrified of AOC and the far left.
Yeah, bingo, spot on all of that. And Mike, not to mention the fact that we have already seen a material impact on the economy, and this is going to hurt for the fourth quarter numbers. Flights throughout the U.S. still facing delays and cancellations as the holidays inch closer. The government shutdown caused air traffic controllers to miss 2 paychecks. Between Friday and Sunday, more than 25,000 U.S. flights were delayed, with more than 5,000 cancellations. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy called out Senate Minority Leader Schumer in an X post. He wrote this: "The only person playing politics here is Senator Schumer, who voted 14 times to to keep the government closed. The secretary emphasizing who was affected, including American travelers and air traffic controllers. California Congressman Ro Khanna has had enough of Schumer as well. He wrote this on X: Senator Schumer is no longer effective and should be replaced. If you can't lead the fight to stop health care premiums from skyrocketing for Americans, what will you fight for? That was an interesting post from Ro Khanna, Mike, because Ro basically is saying, look, he wanted to continue to fight. He was not one voting for the end of this. So we'll see how this plays out in terms of Schumer's fate. But at the end of the day, many Democrats knew they had to get this government open once again. And we're still on day 41, by the way.
Yeah, so it's not open yet. And it's important to remember this entire thing was performative. The Democrats were never going to get, remember first it was the money for Medicaid and Medicare to go to illegals, okay? And then it pivoted to the Obamacare subsidies once they were losing that argument. So there was never a plan here. This was all shut down. But look, who can blame the Democrats? Last Tuesday was an absolute bloodbath for the Republicans. Yes, it was blue governors and blue states, but down the ticket, they got destroyed. So it's good that they're ending it now because the Democrats could have held out for much longer. Okay, from an investor standpoint, you have $1 trillion that the government has not spent that is draining global liquidity, and that's why I think stocks have gotten crushed over the last few weeks, despite having one of the best earnings seasons in recent memory. So look, I'm looking for a great year-end rally due to the government reopening, and I'm looking forward to not sitting on the tarmac for hours at a time when I fly across the country.
Yeah, but don't forget what Kevin Hassett told us last week when he was here, that people are not understanding how severe this impact to the economy has been. He said we were expecting 3% growth in the fourth quarter. Now we're expecting half of that, 1.5%. I'd say we're lucky to get that because it wasn't just the airlines and the travel sector that saw the impact. But what about financial services? How about all the capital markets activity like IPOs that came to a halt? How about the oil companies who wanted permits to get their business continuing? They weren't able to get the permits that they needed as well. So there's a lot of impact here on the broader economy, and we're going to talk about it this morning. Quick break, and we've got a lot more ahead.